Hi and welcome to a new video on my channel. I'm Andrea and today I want to show you how to make one of these Tunisian crochet leaves that you can make into a garland to decorate your house for the upcoming autumn holidays like Halloween, or just to use as a decoration in your house or at school or wherever you want to use these leaf decorations. These are made using Tunisian crochet stitches, so if you're a complete beginner in Tunisian crochet, I recommend that you check out the easier patterns that I have on the channel. I have some patterns that use the same type of construction with short rows, and you can find them by searching for Tunisian crochet face scrubbies or Tunisian crochet citrus slice coasters or the Happy Little Sun coaster, and they are all made using this kind of short row technique. To make this project, you will need yarn, of course. You can use any weight of yarn for this project. A thicker yarn will result in a much bigger leaf. So for example, for the small ones, I used DK weight cotton yarn and the hook that goes with them. So for this one I used 3mm hook, and for this one I used 5mm hook. And if you use a bigger hook, you might end up with holes in the project. So for this project only, you should use the hook size that is recommended on the label for your yarn. For this demonstration, I'll be using this chunky yarn, which has 120 meters per 100 grams and a 6.5mm hook. You can use a regular hook as well because we are making short rows. But I will be using a Tunisian crochet hook because I like that it has this pointy end. As always, you will also need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle to finish off, and you can make as many leaves as you want to and string them up in a garland, and you have instructions on how to do that in the pattern. You can view the pattern for free on my blog and you can print that page if you want to, or there is a PDF version available in my shops that you can buy and follow along with the video. And if you buy the PDF pattern, you also support me in creating these videos that are available for free to everyone who wants to learn Tunisian crochet and crochet in general. So if you do that, I thank you very much, and now let's get started. We begin with a magic ring. So we bring the end of the yarn to the front and make a loop. Insert the hook through the loop and pick up a loop and then chain one. You want to work with quite a loose tension throughout this project. Now, if your first chain one is tight or you cannot work into it, then we chain one again. And now we have the option to make 12 linked double crochet stitches, or insert the hook into the back bump of the chain, pick up a loop, and then pick up a loop in the magic ring. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. This is one Tunisian crochet stitch and one anchoring stitch in the magic ring. Next we insert the hook in the Tunisian simple stitch and pick up a loop, and that's one Tunisian simple stitch, and pick up a loop in the magic ring. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 to return. We repeat this 10 more times, so we have a total of 12 of these stitches. Working in the magic ring is a little tricky, but it's easier once you get past a few stitches. You can pull on the tail to close it up a bit. When we have 12 of these linked stitches, or 12 rows of one Tunisian simple stitch, we pull on the tail to close the magic ring. And now we have the starting section. We slip stitch into the first stitch of the first row, or the top of the first linked double crochet stitch. And now we begin the second section of the pattern, where we create the short rows that add this shape to the leaf. For row 1, we chain 3, and we pick up 3 loops in the back bumps of the chains. And then we insert the hook in the first of these stitches on the side, and we pick up the 3rd loop as well on the back. So we pick up a loop here, and now we have 5 loops on the hook. We do the short row return pass, which means yarn over, pull through 2, and repeat this until you have 1 loop left on the hook. Now we are starting with the shaping. We cast off 1 stitch by inserting the hook in the stitch as if to make a Tunisian simple stitch, but instead of leaving it on the hook, we slip it. This is 1 cast off. And we have 2 simple stitches left to work. And we pick up a loop in the same stitch on the foundation as before. Then we do the short row return pass. This is the first section of the leaf completed, this part here. Now we will make the second section. We chain 2. We pick up 2 loops in the back bumps. Then we have 2 simple stitches. And we pick up 1 loop in the next stitch in the foundation, taking into account that we need to pick up the 3rd loop as well. Now we should have 6 loops on the hook, and then we yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning of the row to return. For row 4 we make 1 stitch. To do that we chain 1, and then we insert the hook back through the first stitch, which we don't usually work into, and pick up a loop as if to make a Tunisian simple stitch. Then we have 4 Tunisian simple stitches. And now we don't pick up a loop in the foundation, we just do a short row return pass, so we yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning of the row to return. And row 5 will be a complete row, and we have 1 more increase, so we chain 1 and we pick up 1 loop in the first stitch, then 4 Tunisian simple stitches in the previous row, and 1 in the row below. Now we pick up 1 loop in the second stitch from the foundation, and then do a short row return pass with yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning of the row to return. The second section is finished now, and we cast off 3 stitches by making slip stitches into the Tunisian simple stitches. Row 6, we chain 2. We pick up 2 stitches in the back bumps of these 2 chains. We pick up 1 loop in the cast off stitch here. You can anchor this by using the horizontal bar as well. So it's a modified Tunisian simple stitch, but it prevents a hole from forming here in this intersection. Then we have 3 simple stitches. And we pick up a loop in the next stitch on the foundation, which is the 3rd stitch, using the back loop as well. Then we yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning of the row to return. For row 7 we have an increase, so we chain 1 and make 1. Here you can also use the horizontal bar to make the stitch so that it doesn't create a hole, but depending on the type of yarn you use, you may or may not have a hole here. Then we have 6 Tunisian simple stitches. and we pick up a loop in the same third stitch on the foundation, and then yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning of the row to return. For a weight we make 1, then we have 7 Tunisian simple stitches, and we pick up a loop in the next stitch on the foundation, then do the return pass. Row 9 we make 1, and we have 8 Tunisian simple stitches, and we anchor in the same stitch, the 4th stitch in the foundation, and then do the return pass. The 3rd section is complete, and now we cast off 6 stitches. You should have 3 working stitches left. Now we begin the 4th section, and here we will only put 1 row end in each of these 4 stitches on the foundation. For row 10 we chain 3. We pick up 3 stitches in the back bumps. We pick up 1 loop in the cast off stitch, and then 3 Tunisian simple stitches. We anchor this in the next stitch in the foundation, and then we do the return pass. Row 11 we make 1, and then we have 6 Tunisian simple stitches, and the short row return pass. Row 12 we make 1, then we have 8 Tunisian simple stitches, and we anchor this row to the next stitch on the foundation. Short row return pass, row 13 we make 1 stitch, then we have 7 Tunisian simple stitches, and the short row return. And now we have reached the middle of the leaf, and it might look funny to you right now as it leans towards this side, but in the end it will all be nice and shaped like this. Now we chain 3 to make a picot at the end here, so that the top of the leaf is pointy, and then we slip stitch into the first chain that we made to create that 3 chain picot. Next we have 10 simple stitches, and we anchor in the next stitch on the foundation. We do a short row return pass, Now we cast off 1 stitch and we start row 15 with 7 Tunisian simple stitches. And we do the return pass. Then we cast off 1 stitch and begin row 16 with 8 Tunisian simple stitches. We anchor this in the next stitch on the foundation, and now we will see that the middle piece has this symmetrical shape. We do the short row return pass. Now we cast off 5 stitches. And we begin row 17 by chaining 5. We pick up 5 loops in the back bumps. Then we pick up 1 loop in the cast off stitch here and 3 Tunisian simple stitches. We anchor this in the next stitch on the foundation. And we do the short row return pass. Now we cast off 1 stitch and we have 8 Tunisian simple stitches. We anchor these in the same stitch as the row before. And then we do the return pass. Next we cast off 1 stitch and have 7 Tunisian simple stitches. And we anchor this row on the next stitch on the foundation. And we do the return pass. We cast off 1 stitch. And for row 20, we have 6 Tunisian simple stitches. And we anchor these in the same stitch as the row before and do the return pass. Now we have 2 small sections to go. We cast off 3 stitches. For row 21, we chain 2. We pick up 2 loops in the back bumps. One loop in the cast off stitch and 3 Tunisian simple stitches. Then we pick up a loop in the next stitch on the foundation and do the return pass. For row 22, we make 5 Tunisian simple stitches. And do a short row return pass. Then we cast off 1. And for row 23, we pick up 4 Tunisian simple stitches. And we pick up 1 loop in the same stitch as we did in row 22. and we do the return pass. Now we cast off 3 stitches. We chain 1, we pick up 1 loop in the back bump, we pick up 1 loop in the cast off stitch, and 1 Tunisian simple stitch. We pick up 1 loop in the last stitch on the foundation, and do a return pass. Then we cast off 1 stitch, and we have 2 simple stitches. Anchor them in the same space as the last row, and do the return pass. Now we cast off the last 2 simple stitches, and the leaf is complete. We slip stitch into the same stitch in the foundation where we picked up the last loop. And now we have the option to create a stem. So to do that, we chain 10. Skip the first chain from the hook and make 4 single crochet stitches in the next 4 chains, working in the back bumps of the chains. Then we have 5 slip stitches. And the slip stitch in the foundation, you can do it either in the last stitch or the first stitch of the foundation. I will do it in the first stitch. Then you cut off the yarn, leaving a long enough tail that you can weave on the back. And now you use the tapestry needle to weave in these 2 ends on the back. I have a separate video about this, and you can watch that to learn how to weave in the ends on the back of Tunisian crochet projects. And you can use that in the future as well for other projects. And once I do that and give this leaf a little bit of steam, I will come back and show you the final result. As you can see, after blocking, the leaf is nice and flat. If you make your leaves out of acrylic, you can also steam block them so that they have this nice and flat appearance. If you make them out of cotton, you can wash them and you can starch them, and I have a video about starching cotton items. If you starch colored items and don't use a very high concentration of starch, they will not change color at all, and you can have stiffer leaves, for example, if you want to make a garland. As a personalization to this leaf, you can add picots anywhere you want. For example, at the tips of these sections, you can add picots so that they look as sharp as this end, or you can add them at the end of any row you want to add some more bits to the leaf so that it looks like a different species of tree. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want more videos of Tunisian crochet projects, check out the channel. I have lots of videos for different types of projects. If you want to know when I publish new patterns, please sign up to my emails. You will also get access to coupons for patterns, and I only offer those coupons to my email subscribers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!